One interesting fact about the Paloma, is that what we want? While its exact origin is debated, it's believed to have been named after the popular folk song La Paloma, which is Spanish for dove. Some also believe the name might be related to pomelo, the Spanish word for grapefruit. While the exact origin is unclear, it's widely believed to have originated in Mexico, possibly in the mid-20th century, after the introduction of grapefruit soda. All right, we are recording. We're first officially starting
Cheers.
the first episode of Cocktails and Chords.
That's awesome. It's honor to be here.
It's something to celebrate. It's something to celebrate. We've got Ryan Casey as our first guest.
Wow.
Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How long have we known each other?
3 or 4 years now?
3 or 4 years. I think that sounds about right.
Is it that long? I think we met through Dennis.
Dennis or Dalton, maybe?
Maybe I remember seeing the Lewd Dudes and being aware of y'all, but I don't think we had actually hung out.
I think that's right. And I had known of you in your numerous bands. Speaking of numerous bands, we've got Walrus, which is I guess this is more name changes than bands. We've got Walrus. Now it's Sunrise Get Down.
That's right.
That you could find this man under his Instagram aliases. Was there one in between? Am I?
there might have been, but
what was it? Remind me.
That one's a secret. I can't tell the viewers.
Okay.
That's old news, you know.
Okay, fair enough. So Sunrise Get Down now is the main name. What we can find you as. And how many bands are you playing with currently?
You know, people keep asking me that question, and I really don't have a real answer because there are bands like Eddie Robbins' band right now, for example. Eddie's in Colorado.
Eddie's the man.
Eddie is the man. Him and his wife and his baby, they're all in Colorado right now for the summer. And I'm like, are they going to move there?
Yeah.
Are they coming back? I don't know. Probably.
Dang. Well, that sounds like a nice place to
I
spend
think they're
the summer.
coming back. Yeah, totally. I'm going to visit my parents out there for my mom's birthday, and I'm going to try and link up with them out in Ouray.
Is that's in Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And but I think 5 bands, depending on how you want to count it.
So we've got Eddie. We've got
the Eddie Robbins band.
We've got the Eddie Robbins band. We've got Bartley. Another
Jackson.
homie. Van Jackson.
Yeah.
Also homies.
Keith Sanders and the Dirty Bandanas.
Okay, I'm wearing a Brother Thunder shirt.
Yeah,
so
very
don't
adjacent.
get it twisted.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Love
They're different.
Keith Sanders.
Yeah, me too. He's a great dude. And then Blush Fantasy.
Blush Fantasy.
Yep, that's formerly the Cuckoos.
When did the name change there?
It was around the beginning of this year.
Okay.
And you know, the Cuckoos had been kind of like, we got all these new members, and he kind of like Kenneth started kind of doing this different direction that's more like Prince, Joy Division kind of inspired, and the Cuckoos kind of were more classic psych rock kind of sounding. And
I had a little bit of like the Doors.
I definitely.
I had a.
I didn't want to like Greta Van Fleet say like Led
Oh
Zeppelin.
yeah. But
yeah,
his whole thing is way more than that because there's the electronic element and and I mean he's playing the fucking guitar live.
Yeah, exactly.
So dope.
So there was a time and he was like, I want to rebrand this. The Cuckoos have been around for like 9 years.
Nice.
And we wanted to call it something different for the new direction, and we have all these different members. It just didn't really feel like the Cuckoos anymore. But it's
sometimes one thing gets worn out, and you need a fresh name or a fresh.
Yep, exactly. So we're about to we're scheming going into the studio with Frenchie soon.
Frenchie.
Yep.
And I love. This is the best like first podcast I think, because I feel like you know so many people in Austin, and like we're talking about all these people that I know too, and I'm like, oh my god, like.
Have you ever worked with Frenchie before?
Yes. Frenchie mixed the last Lewd Dudes album.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I really like the work that he does. I feel like he's one of those guys that he has a sound, and it really works for some people. Some people it's not their thing, but I've always liked the stuff that he does. It's really inspiring for me as a producer to like get to work with a dude like Frenchie that's so established and knows so much and all that good stuff.
He's a whole vibe too.
Totally.
He's a great guy.
I haven't been to the new iteration of the Bubble. I think they moved it within the last several months or something.
Yes.
So I need to go out there and check that out whenever we get all of that rolling. I'm not really in charge of any of that. It's just kind of like, whenever it happens, it happens. So yeah, so there's that. And then of course Sunrise Get Down, which is my solo project. And that one's kind of been on the shelf I haven't released anything since last February, I believe.
I think your latest release was I did my little bit of homework on you before this podcast. I wanted us to sound pro as chill as I knew it would be. Was it the One More Time with Ricky Duran?
Yeah, that's right.
Sick.
Yeah,
I listened to it. Quite the jam.
Yeah, it's a bop.
How was working with Ricky?
So that was cool. We were living together at the time, and he moved out at the beginning of this year, I think February or something. And anyway, I was staying up late, ghouling, as I call it, in the studio late at night. And I was like, man, this is a bop. I really need a good voice on this. And then Ricky just happened to like come stumbling in that like right after having that thought. And then,
no way.
Yeah, and then we just wrote the lyrics together like on the spot and recorded the vocals. And then I think we maybe came back the next day and did some more like harmonies and stuff, and then that was it. It was just bing bang bang.
That's when the best shit happens, dude.
Yeah.
The best musical moments are always just very organic, I guess is the best way, but everyone says that. It's
totally.
still
Yeah, no,
organic,
it felt like a natural thing because he just kind of like popped in when I needed him, and he had helped me out on the vocals of a couple of other songs that I did, like background vocals.
Yeah.
That he has some vocals that are tucked in on this Spooky Girl song that I released, which actually is one of those songs that I wrote in 2020 and then just decided I guess I might as well just put this out and like finish it. So I've got a bunch on the shelf right now. I'm probably like an EP's worth, and I've been really kind of taking a step back and taking some voice lessons and kind of like working on developing my singing, because all of these songs that I have are vocal songs. And they don't feel like they're the cuts that I have are like the final cut of the vocals.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I've just been like taking my time on that, and it's easy to put in like all that stuff on the shelf, when you're in 5 other bands.
Totally. I mean, God, man, I have so much stuff in the vault too that but I don't know if I'll ever put it out. That's my thing. It's like
you don't have to.
Yeah. I think I'd have a hard time going back to some old shit that I recorded and putting it out. That said, sometimes I listen to some old song that I did back in the day, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of hot,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've never really put one out like that, but it's what can you do?
I feel like it's a practice in letting go, because it's never gonna be the perfect thing that you imagined it, and it's never gonna be this like, perfect thing, and you have to accept this is as good as I could get it at this time in my life, and then move on and then work on the next one. But I also am a believer of like, maybe you'll write 10 songs and you'll only put out like one of them. So
yeah, because you want to pick the best, and
not everybody has that philosophy. That's just sort of the way that I like to work. Because like if I work on something and I'm still excited about it the next day after working on it for like 5 or 6 hours,
oh yeah,
then I'm like, okay, this is something. But if I'm starting to get burnt out in it before it's finished, then I just give up on it. Usually.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes to like, at least for me, if I'm writing a song, if I'm not excited enough to complete it, then it probably wasn't worth completing. Maybe I'm fucking up and I'm leaving a lot of unfinished songs on the table. I don't know.
It's tricky because there's also an art to finishing songs. You know,
Yeah,
there's a
you need to finish it off sometimes.
exercise and just finishing.
That is very true as well.
A thing that I've been working on recently is if I come up with an idea that I like, I try to finish an entire sketch of the whole song, like the structure out everything, maybe like give it a verse and a chorus and a bridge or whatever, and have like a rough draft before I leave the room.
Yeah.
So that way, because it's so much easier if you come back to a whole rough draft song to like be inspired versus
fill it out
to come back to like a riff
and be like, I need a chorus and a bridge.
Yeah, but the inspiration's gone at that time.
Yes. Yeah. No, that is one thing. I know that like in my recording, songwriting process, sometimes they're, I guess, like one and the same too, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, I think lately I've kind of focused on when I'm working on the bass, for example.
Sick.
When I'm working on the bass, which I should call you for, and take that off my hands. But when I'm working on the bass, for example, like I think what I've found to be beneficial to me is like record this part until you got it, record another part, and then record another part. Just because you think you might need it, and then you could kind of piece it together from there, and again that way you're not having to retrack things or add this or add that, you know. So I totally hear what you're saying there.
Yep, and then I've also been working on starting a new band with this guy Seth Seldron, and we try and meet maybe once a week to write and record music, and he's one of those guys that's like a jack of all trades. He's kind of good at a little bit of everything, so it helps.
Cool.
He can like play drums and sing and guitar and whatever, keyboards.
So I don't think I know Seth. Is he?
He's a younger dude. Okay. I met him through playing a show with Keezy. I was filling in with Keezy's band.
Keezy's the man.
Keezy is the man, dude. He's incredible, and so it's always fun whenever I get to play with him. But Seth and his guitar player Mark were on that gig, and I've been like looking for somebody to get involved with Sunrise Get Down, and so he was actually the first person I hit up.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was weird how that worked out, but we found out pretty quickly that we write really well together, but that Sunrise Get Down was not the right
not the thing,
not the thing for him.
Gotcha.
So I was like, well, let's just do something else. And that we haven't even come up with a name, but I think we've probably written 8 or 9 songs at this point.
Have you done any shows as Sunrise Get Down, or is it just strictly a producer alias?
No, one of my goals for this year is to get a show under the belt, but as I said, I haven't been making the best progress on that goal.
Yeah. How would, if you were envisioning it, how would it go? Would you have like some backing tracks or like a DJ, more of like a DJ setup?
I'm envisioning it being backing track, but then maybe having a couple of musicians with me.
Cool.
And that's sort of the detail that's TBD, that's sort of holding everything back.
Yeah.
Finding the right guys or the right people that want to be involved, and it's trickier when you're doing like 45-minute sets and you want to have pro musicians come out.
Totally.
So I haven't quite figured that out yet. I had the idea of like, the concept originally was that I wanted to be able to do shows solo and then be able to, like, for a bigger show, bring out a couple of people, or for a really big show, bring out a handful of people. And I actually was inspired by Kenneth with Blush Fantasy stuff with that, because he has everything on a Boss loop station.
Yes.
All the songs are programmed in there. So he's done shows by himself. And I mean, he's a vocalist, keyboard player, so that's
kind of pre-programming it, but to where you can transition.
Like
and
they had this show at Cheer Ups this weekend, and I had to miss it because I was in Dallas with Bartley, and it was nice though because they just turn on the synth bass on the track when I'm not there, and our guitar player Phoenix wasn't there, and so it was like 3 of them out of, I don't know,
that bass player
people.
won't miss any notes either.
I know.
That's tough to compete with.
Yeah, it is. But there's a swag to electric bass that
absolutely
that synth bass doesn't really capture, and vice versa. There's some stuff you can do on synth bass that
totally. I've seen you do a couple shows where you're playing a little synth keyboard and playing bass, and that it sounds great.
Yeah, I was doing it with the Cuckoos, and then since we got all these new members, and we kind of made the decision like, okay, maybe we don't need to. Maybe I don't need like a 5th keyboard on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
it comes down to do I want to lug this shit to every show?
Yeah, exactly.
And gigging as much as you do, I'm sure you find ways to. I don't want to say cut corners, but keep your rig as light as it can be.
Yeah. Okay. So on that topic.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. my synth bass rig, I built this suitcase, and I built it out so that I put it's like I'm forgetting the name for it, but it's basically a hard plastic like dust cover protective kind of cover on top, and it keeps all the knobs and everything in place. And so I put that over. I've been using a Bass Station 2, which is like this big. And then there's a little flap that comes down, a little divider piece. And then I put like a music stand, like a hard metal music stand, and that goes in the middle. And then I put the cables and the rest of the stand and everything just all in this one suitcase for the synth bass rig.
Amazing.
So
that's nice. So you can make it in one trip from the car.
Yeah, and
that's the important thing.
One handle. It's like weighs less than 10 pounds.
Nice. Yeah, getting it. It's the avoiding multiple trips from the car for me.
Yep.
That's the big
backpack, bass.
Yeah.
Case.
Easy.
Where I'll put my pedal board in the front.
So you got a free hand.
Yeah, well then I carry the amp with the other hand, and I
ask for more than that, dude.
I recently, maybe like a year and some change ago, I bought this Mark bass that it's like made out of foam.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's mega light. Instead of being a wooden cabinet, it has like a foam, this high density foam material. That's really cool.
That's a Mark bass.
It's a 210 cabinet, like 500 watts, and it weighs 30 pounds.
Okay, Mark Bass, we're taking sponsors. If you want to hook us up with the bass amp over here, let us know. Very sick, dude. Let me ask you this. So kind of taking the conversation to the theme of the show that I kind of wanted to go for, cocktails and chords, obviously. And for those that don't know, which there's plenty of people that don't know because I haven't really told anyone that I'm doing this, but what I'm trying to do really is kind of bring the Austin community that is already very tightly knit, bring them closer together through this podcast and through some spirits.
Hey.
And today we're drinking Palomas as a request from Ryan. And any guest that comes on, I'm gonna have them choose whatever drink they'd like, or whatever cocktail they'd like, and we're gonna make it for them. And Ryan wanted to do NA, non-alcoholic for those that are unfamiliar with the term. Palomas today, so we did use a non-alcoholic tequila, but we will be using actual alcohol, I should say, in future episodes as well. But for anyone that might want to come on the podcast, we are absolutely open to non-alcoholic products. I think they're great, honestly, for anyone that's just, you don't have to be, like completely sober or alcohol free to enjoy a non-alcoholic drink. I think for me, like whenever I'm taking a little break, just giving myself, a couple weeks break from drinking. If I want a little, an NA beer or NA tequila like we've got here, like it kind of helps you. It kind of tricks the brain maybe a little bit, helps you take the edge off. So I'm all about the NA products. So when you said you want to do this, I was like, you know what, that's perfect. What made you want to choose the Paloma as your drink of choice today?
It's kind of one of my go-to cocktails.
Okay.
I think I got really into the Palomas because of the ones they have at Half Step.
Okay.
They have these Palomas on draft, and they give you a piece of salted grapefruit with it, and it's just really, really good. Ooh. They do a great job over there of like hand squeezing their juices every day and getting really good ingredients, and they put a lot of.
I'll have to give that a go. So they have them on draft.
Yeah, they have handmade ones too, but the Paloma one is on draft.
Cool, and that's Half Step on Rainy, right?
Yep, pretty much the only place on Rainy that is worth going to, in my opinion.
Okay.
In terms of music stuff.
I'm gonna plug the place. I actually just played there for the first time. It's like a Latin. I think it's described as a Latin nightclub online, but
wow.
it's on Rainy. It's called Crazy Conchas, and I played there 2 weeks ago or something like that, and super cool people. I would recommend to any of my musician friends.
Check it out.
To hit them up. Cool vibes. They've got like a basketball hoop like in the front. It's right near where Idle Hands is. If Idle Hands is, I think Idle Hands is still there, right?
I haven't been in a while. I heard they were closing. I don't know if they have closed yet.
Gotcha. Well, it might be. This is a newer spot, so it's either right there or it might be the same. But I don't know. But it's right there on Rainy. Cool spot.
Yeah,
cool spot.
It seems a bunch of the spots out there are closing. I heard Drafting Room finally just closed just recently.
No shit.
Which is one of those spots that was kind of like, that was like Nether Hour's OG spot when they were first coming up. They were playing there 4 nights a week. That's whenever I first saw them.
And then they were at, where were they at for a while after that? I forget. That place on the east side?
Oh, Latchkey.
Latchkey.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And now they've been doing their Sunday service at WTF, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are cool.
Yeah. It's definitely inspirational to see, close friends and homies in the music scene actually making waves and having some real success.
Absolutely. I think they just did a little tour or something. Yeah. But those are nice dudes. Nether Hour, definitely check them out. We've got when's your next when are you playing? I know you play every day of every week.
I have kind of a slow week. Gigs? I think I got asked to do a Mohawk gig on Thursday, and I also got asked to do a Toonsmiths thing, and I think both of them fell through.
Oh, okay.
So I need to look at my calendar on what's next. I know.
Maybe let's try this. What about a week or two out? Because this will be. I'm gonna try to edit, but we're gonna be doing our first edit of the podcast, so I'm not sure. I'm hoping I could edit in a day or two and get it out there for us. But I don't know. I don't want to make any promises. So maybe is there a big one in the next week or two?
We're doing the next Bartley EP.
Oh, okay.
Monday through Wednesday of next week. So the 16th.
You're recording it or?
No, I'm playing bass on it. We're going to a studio out in Dripping Springs, and David Beck is going to be the producer, and he's sort of a mentor of Bartley, and they've worked together before, and he worked with us on the last EP as well, but we're going to be doing it out of a different studio this time. Let's see. So I don't know that the Thursday thing is happening. I've got a couple sessions this week, playing at White Tiger on Sunday with a Grant Hudson band.
Okay.
It's a band I didn't mention before.
And then you also, I don't think you even mentioned Ricky when we were saying earlier, and you play with Ricky sometimes, right?
Sort of here and there, not regularly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see.
Well, we've played on stage together before.
Yeah, we have. I have a Van Jackson at Half Step on the 19th, so we were just plugging Half Step.
Okay.
That'd be a good one.
On the 19th? Cool.
Yeah. And let's see what else. Dirty Bandanas. I think that's a private gig on the 21st. We do every other Sunday at Armadillo Den, so the 22nd.
Okay.
We'll be doing Armadillo Den, I think 4 to 7.
And this is the 22nd of... We're in July.
Nope. June.
No, we're in June.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm already thinking that far. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, it's all good.
Jeez, okay. God.
Yeah, but I'm excited for this Bartley record, and I'm trying to find the date. I think maybe this Saturday we're capping. I've been producing Paris Ellis's record, Paris Ellie.
I don't know.
And it's supposedly going to be the last day of the record, so I'm pretty excited for that.
And then that's Paris
Ellie.
Paris Ellie. Okay, I know Perry Ellis.
Yeah, it's a different one.
It's a different one.
It's a different
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I've been in this weird transitional period with my studio. We kind of had to have some work done at my place and moved everything to a different room. Now the studio's in Ricky's old room, and everything, kind of the drums and the guitar amps and everything are just in the living room. But I'm working on building out a tracking room in the garage, and then hopefully there will also be another tracking space in the living room, and then there will be the control room, mixing room, whatever.
Okay.
So lots of plans.
Still at the same house.
Still at the same place. Yeah, it's just
cool.
Yeah, I won't go into all the details, but it's been I'm hoping that this is like the final form, like the third evolution. This is my third like reiteration, redoing everything.
Cool.
So like every like year or so of like working and doing studio stuff, I discover more things. Especially like now that I've been taking on some clients for recording engineering and production.
Okay.
So I've been trying to be more accommodating of tracking for bands.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you recorded some bands like at your studio?
So probably the one I'm most excited about is we're kind of scheduling the release of it now. So Bercy from Nether Hour, I did his solo record.
Oh, sick.
It's a 6-track EP, and it features Sean St. Germain from Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol on the drums.
Cool.
Brian and John from Louisiana Surf Department on the percussion and guitar. Bercy, of course, is on bass and plays some guitar and keyboards and vocals. And then who else? Did we have anybody else on there? We had I can't remember the trumpet player that we had come out. I think he had Jerron Marshall do a couple of keyboard parts on it from the Black Pumas. So it's going to be okay. He flew those in, so I didn't get to be involved in those. And then we had it mixed over at 601, and those guys just really, really crushed mixing. And then I did an EP for this artist Brenna this last year with Yeah, she came over here one time.
Yeah.
It was me and her and Daniel Hopen, and in the past I've tracked some drums and bass and guitars and stuff for Nick Swift Band, of course for the Sunrise Get Down stuff. We've been in talks of potentially doing Keith Sanders stuff. That one hasn't been finalized yet, but I'm working on a record with Sydney and Conklin right now. We just did the first 2 tracks. We did the drum and the upright, and then some scratch vocal and guitar.
Damn, and staying busy with it, dude.
Yeah, I have a guy this week coming in, Casey Shaw. He's just gonna do a little acoustic guitar thing. I've done some stuff with Wander and Pine, which is Eddie and Alice's solo project, or their duo project, I guess you would call it. Did I
ever tell you the story that I have about Eddie? When we were driving, have I told you about this?
No,
when I was driving,
I'd love to hear it though.
Okay, so Eddie, I love you, and I'm not mad at you. I'm just kidding.
What did you do?
This must have been 7.5 years ago, something like that. I met Eddie very early on when I moved to Austin, and I had just gotten off work. I'd been living here for maybe a year, and I just got off work. I was driving home, and I get to a red light, and I'm chilling there. I'm like, check my phone or something, and then poof, I get rear-ended.
Oh, it was Eddie.
What the shit?
No
I
way.
turn around. I look at the back of my car, and then I hear Rankin, and I look up, and it's Eddie, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, you gotta be kidding me.
That's funny.
It
Dude.
was too funny, and luckily there was like no damage done, so I was like, you're good, man. I'm not gonna sue you. I was like, hope you got good insurance, dude. No,
that's funny.
Yeah.
We might have been living together at that time. I'm not even sure. Like whenever he was one of my first roommates.
Oh no shit.
Okay. Living out here, yeah. We met out at. He used to host this Hideaway Jam. On.
I remember that at the Hideaway. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Monday or Tuesday night or something.
I remember it was him and. Was Vince?
Yeah, it was him and Vince and Coleman, and then this dude.
Right.
What was the guy's name? Rex or no? I can't remember the last guy. He was he had all this like video equipment and all this other stuff.
I don't remember.
Had a lot of.
I don't know if I knew him. I knew Vince and Coleman were
Dex.
Dex.
Yeah, it was Dex.
I don't know if I knew Dex.
Yeah, I didn't know him outside of that. And
shout out to Dex.
Yeah, shout out Dex if you're out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met out there, and then I saw him at I think it was at the Old Parish. He was like, "Hey, you play bass well," and then I was like, "Let's hang out." And then the first time we hung out, he was like, "Man, I need a place to live," and then it just like
gotcha.
Yeah, so those are good times.
What's your go-to bass right now? What are you playing? Because I know you were playing a Music Man. You've been playing a Music Man for a while.
So
but then there were a couple in the mix.
Yeah, so I had the first one that I got.
I think you have a little bit of tahini on your nose.
Oh, thank you, dude. That's hilarious. Am I good now?
Go give it one more wipe. It was there for a little bit, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and then I was like, "Oh, that's tahini."
Yeah, it just left me hanging there for the camera.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure how long it was there. I think you're good.
I have two go-tos right now. I have this one over here that's it's a Music Man Stingray short scale, so it's a passive short scale, which is kind of different than the like the normal Stingray thing.
Yeah.
And then I have that like wood grain, roasted maple neck, Stingray 5 HH.
Okay.
It's like the double humbuckers. So that one I have strung up with round wounds, and then the
is that one active?
Yeah, that one's active, and I have round wounds on it, so it kind of has like the more like modern bass sound, and then this one is kind of is reminiscent of like an old Mustang bass with flat wounds on it.
Okay, hell yeah. So
kind of like depends on the vibe that I'm going for.
Cool. Do you gravitate towards the smaller one for any reasons other than sound? Like, is it easier to get around, navigate on the smaller one sometimes, or
it weighs less and it's I can shred on it harder. Like you can bend. There's less tension, so you can bend the strings better and do heavier vibrato.
Gotcha. Okay.
If
that makes sense.
Yeah, but the strings on that one are a lot thicker, so it almost evens itself out.
Gotcha. Okay. Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, it's more of just like flavor of the, like different flavors for different sounding bands.
Totally. So yeah, I think that makes sense more than the
like
the size or the
yeah. I mean, that one's definitely good for travel. It fits in a guitar case.
Quick weekend gig in Dallas or Houston or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the small guy. That makes sense. I'm always whatever I can do to have to lug less shit to a gig.
Definitely. And there's something to be said about I mean, I love the active bass sound and like having the EQ on the bass, but there's something nice about not having to worry about unplugging it and replacing the batteries.
Yeah. That's the one thing with active basses that I always found a little annoying, I guess.
Slightly annoying.
You don't always have a 9-volt laying around. So.
I keep like 4 9-volts in my like in my.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
your bass can't work at a gig because because it runs out of because you don't have a 9-volt. Yeah, you got to have one on ready to go.
I keep 2 in my car and then I keep 2 in the case.
That makes sense.
For any sort of emergency situation. But it's more just I've never really had too much issues with it running out at a show. It's more of just like the idea of it happening.
Yeah.
I better run because if you leave it plugged in, the battery's still getting juiced.
If you just run it, if you just leave it, oh man.
So if you need to,
I didn't realize
you need to unplug it to disengage the battery.
Oh man, I would have such a hard time with that.
Yeah, it's a small detail.
I would have such a hard time with that.
Yeah, I actually have a jazz bass that was a gift, and it's in the shop right now. I think the guy texted me that it's going to be done tomorrow, but it's an active deluxe jazz bass, so it has that issue that we were talking about. But I had him install a active passive switch, so it's going to be able to like if the active, like if I want the passive jazz bass sound, like the traditional jazz bass, then I'll just switch to the passive mode. Or if the battery dies, switch to passive mode. Oh,
that's nice. Yeah.
Yep.
And where are you getting it repaired at?
So,
or worked on? I don't know if it's just a setup or a repair.
Yeah, this particular one, there's a guy called Get Some, like GUIT.
Okay.
Get some
plug
mods
and get
and
some
repairs.
mods, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you had some other stuff worked on there before? Or?
No, usually I'm actually repping Moon Music. Usually I do all my guitar work over there.
Okay.
But someone recommended.
Check them out.
Moon Music is good. They have their shop is up like off Anderson, so it's a little north from here, but they have really good guitars and pedals, and they started doing this thing where they make these custom Moon Music gig bags. So you buy one of their guitars and you get a gig bag, and it's like a really well-made, sturdy gig bag, and on the inside it has this awesome like zebra print material.
That's
like,
cool.
I want to buy one of their guitars just to get one of those bags because you buy a guitar there, it comes with the bag.
Where are they located?
Up off Anderson.
Okay, I need to check that out. I've never been there. I normally whenever I need a setup or something's broken, I usually go to Straight.
Yeah,
and they've been good.
I just had I had an acoustic guitar, like my first real acoustic guitar, like that I ever had. The bridge was peeling off, and you have to have this special clamp device to be able to re-glue it down, and it's kind of an intensive process. So I had Julio do that, and he gave me a setup, and then he put on like a bone nut and a bone saddle that he custom, carved out. And he's done a lot of work on my stuff over the years, and they just can't say enough good stuff about them. I'm always plugging their stuff, but yeah, since it's on the other side of town, I usually have to plan around it, make sure I'm not going during rush hour or something.
Or if you need something done quickly. Yeah,
exactly.
I get it.
They actually they have an amp repair guy too that works out of them or works with them, and he repaired my Blues Junior some time ago, and he wanted to do all these mods to it. I couldn't tell you what any of the mods were, but he was like replacing some tone caps and like little things like that. He was like, dude, you're gonna have the best sounding Blues Junior in Austin. Like, I got you, and I was just like, okay, man.
Yeah, do your thing. I don't know what any of that means. But
he just made me pay for the cost of the parts on top of the repair that he was doing. It was just
nice. Okay,
so
that's
he hooked
cool.
me up there. Yeah. I think it sounds better. Like it was broken before, so I didn't have like a good A/B comparison.
You couldn't really compare it. Yeah. Was it better before or after? Well, definitely after.
Yeah, because it works now.
Yeah. That's, man, yeah. I don't know about you and with guitar amps. For me, it's like you hear, oh, that's the dog grunting over there. It's magnified in the headphones.
I feel like I'm getting tahini on myself.
Just
every
getting
time
tahini everywhere.
just
We're gonna have to be a little more. I like the tahini.
I do too.
I used to always call tahini Tahiti. I don't know why.
Like the place.
Like the place. I was just like, give me some of that Tahiti. And I don't know why I started doing that. But
did you know that you were wrong?
No, I think someone had to correct me.
Yeah,
I think someone had to correct me.
I was corrected recently on something, and I was mortified. I think I said one foul swoop, and he was like, "No, it's one fell swoop."
Fell or fail? One fail swoop? Is it one?
I thought it was one fell swoop.
One,
but whatever I was originally saying, I've got to look it up now.
I think it's one fell swoop.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I was saying.
And what were you?
I was saying one foul swoop.
Foul.
Yeah.
It's one fell swoop or one fail.
One fell.
Okay, yeah. It's fell. Okay, cool. That's not an expression I use very often. So, but I know the meaning at least.
Yeah, I knew the meaning as well.
In one movement, in one sweeping gesture.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. You hear it and you've never seen it written before.
Yeah. I love it. Well, what do you say? I mean, should we jam out a little bit? Should we do that? Should we set up for that somehow?
For the people?
Just for the people. I mean, we could try. It could be for just you and me, or it could be for the people.
Whatever
you want.
I'm cool with that. I brought my bass.
Okay, cool.
I figured there might be some jammage.
We'll see what happens.
If the people don't want the jams, they don't have to.
We'll see. We can cut it if we want. So it's all good.
Cool.
Before we do that, though, before we kind of break and set up for the jams, anything you would like to plug for yourself before we kind of just move into the next segment?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I figured you were going to ask something like that, and it's funny because I'm in this weird sort of spot right now. I haven't put out any music with Sunrise Get Down in over a year. The project with me and Seth is still we're still working under the hood. It's still in the works, and I'm looking forward for the Bartley stuff that's coming out. But I think honestly,
I'm excited. He's so talented.
Yeah, he really is. I've been getting Sunrise Studio worked up. I've kind of been hesitant about plugging that because right now it's sort of like I work with only people that I know that are directly in my network because it's out of my house.
Yeah,
and for the foreseeable future, it's gonna be probably that sort of thing. But I am excited. I'm hoping to have the studio done by the end of the summer.
Okay.
So hopefully, a month or so after this podcast comes out, we'll be back
in action. I love it.
In full force.
I love it. So I guess for the audience, anyone listening, Sunrise Get Down, Bartley, Van Jackson, who am I forgetting one or two more?
Yeah, Blush Fantasy.
But most specifically, Sunrise Get Down.
Yep.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Look up Sunrise Get Down on Instagram, Spotify. There's hot jams, people, okay? And you need to get locked in on it. You need to get into that shit.
Well, I appreciate you having me out on the first episode, man.
Absolutely.
Cheers to that.
Thank you for for hopping on, man. We'll wrap this thing up. And get some jams in. Oh, banana. That was tasty. I thought that was fun.
That was cool.
Yeah. What do you think? Should we do one more, or you want to wrap it there?
We'll do one more.
One more, just for the just in case.
Just in case.
One more for the fit.
I feel like that one was good though.
Yeah, we could do. We'll skip that first one. The second one. I'm glad we did that one. That was fun.
That was a good one.
Now my fingers hurt.
Sick, dude.
That was fun.
What the hell?